G'day legends, welcome back to Max Power Cardboard Collectibles. Hope this video finds you well, happy and living your best life as always. And we are in full swing collecting mode again for another year. Select just dropped their video on Saturday detailing a lot of the stuff around Footy Stars 2023. We're going to get stuck into that shortly, but if you haven't seen that video, maybe pop on over to the Select Facebook page, check that one out, and I'll leave a link to that in the description as well as the checklist if you want to play along with that at home. And yeah, look, we got a lot to get through, but before we do, guys, don't forget, check us out on the Instagram, posting a lot of stuff around the PC and, you know, just some cool cards that I pick up along the way. So if that's something you're interested in, have a look at that. But yeah, also look, if you find this video helpful and you're liking the content, drop a like, drop a sub, you know the deal, or don't, whatever, we good. Yeah, look, a lot of information to get into today, guys. So yeah, let's get stuck into it. Alright guys, so look, before we pull up the checklist and have a good look through that, we're just going to go some key info around, you know, where you can buy the product, how you're going to get your hands on Footy Stars in 23, and everything you need to know around that. So, standard Footy Stars, we got the same old sort of setup. We got 9 cards in a pack, 36 packs in a box, 12 boxes in a case, $105 a box. Same as it's been for the last few years. Pretty easy. Official release date will be the 9th of March, and that'll be available pretty much every place you've been able to buy them before. As well as Kmart, which is an interesting point, which we'll get to a little bit later. But yeah, select website, hobby shops, you'll be able to pull your servo packs. I don't know if Coles are doing them anymore, but yeah, look, you will have no problem finding these. Basic release, super easy. Done. Next thing we're going to move on to, we got Footy Stars Hobby, which is, yeah, very similar to the Jumbo release of last year. 18 cards per pack, 18 packs per box. $140 a box for the Jumbo, so for the Hobby. So these ones will be available from the Select website, and your sort of bigger hobby stores will kind of have them as well. Look, if you're an SCC member, you've got until 4 o'clock Tuesday, which is probably by the time this video comes out, only a couple of hours away. So look, if you're an SCC member, I hope you've gotten onto that. And then the general release sale will go on the Sunday, on Sunday the 5th of March. That'll be at 9 a.m. Western time, and there'll be a 2-box per person limit on that one. So this is a limited release, so they're only printing 8,400 boxes of this, which is the same amount of boxes they print for a release like Optimum that they have for the last 2 years. So look, granted that, let's say, all the 1,000 SCC members get their 2 boxes in the pre-sale. That's only going to leave 6,400 boxes of the Footy Stars Hobby for the general public. So, look, I assume that these are going to sell very similar to the same way that a Prestige or an Optima sells. You're going to want to get online. You're going to be wanting to be logged into your Afterpay, your PayPal, however you do it, logged into your Select account so that when they do go on sale, you've probably got about 3 or 4 minutes before they're going to sell out. That's, you know, I think we've seen in the hobby for long enough now. That's just how it is these days. You know, you snooze, you lose. So, yeah, look, if you're interested in getting in on the hobby product, make sure you get on that, make sure you're organized and all that stuff. Also, starter packs are back, which is nice. They've got the same layout as before. We got 3 packets and a unique parallel, which we'll get into a little bit later. But this year we got a little bit of a twist. As I said earlier, you're going to be able to buy Select products at Kmart this year. I don't know what they're going to do with all the other stuff, but you definitely can get your Footy Stars there. And there's also going to be a Kmart edition starter pack, which will be available at Kmart. Same setup, 3 packs with their own unique parallel, which is a little bit different to the just regular starter packs parallel. One's an acetate, one's a pink. We'll get into that a little bit later. But then also, you know, lastly but not leastly, all the albums are back. As usual, you get your cardboard albums and your vinyl albums, which both come with a couple of packs of cards attached to them. You can get all that through the Select website, as we've always been able to. So, yeah, look, I think what we'll do next, let's pull up the checklist and we'll have a look at what we're in for this year. Hokey pokey legends. So look, we've got our checklist up here. What we'll do, we'll have a look at all the inserts, all the cards. We'll go through it all. And yeah, we'll talk about hit rates and all that kind of stuff. So look, we're going to start here with the base. Obviously, we got the AFLM base, the AFLW base. Look, I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the AFLM base when I first saw it, but I don't know, I'm kind of warming to it. I do like the fact that we're actually seeing the players on the field. It's not just like a cutout of a player on a board with like different stuff. I don't mind that. I also think the AFLW base looks awesome, but I don't understand why they need to be different. Like, whatever, I don't care either way. I think they both look pretty cool, but that's probably all we need to say about the base. moving over here, we got the color spot parallels. Now, you know, these look pretty cool as well. Obviously, very similar to like the sunsets and the purples from last year, or those horrible swirly ones from 2021. These actually look pretty cool though. I like how we're gonna have like a rainbow hollow foil board with like your team colors just in the background like this. They can look pretty cool, and they're going to be really easy to collect. They're 1 in every 2 packs. So, you know, if you're just buying the standard Footy Stars, you're going to get 18 of them in a box. So, you know, people should be able to pick up for their team stuff really easily for team collectors. No dramas there. Moving on next, we're going to go down to the mascot cards. Now, these kind of look to seem to be like a little bit of a replacement for the, like, I don't know, the kids collectible. So I'm doing air quotes there. You can't even see it. But yeah, these ones obviously marketed at the kids, you know. So essentially, there's 5 players from each team who have had their head removed and added to the body of a mascot. So these are all right. Look, they're 1 in 6 packs, so you'll end up with 6 of these in a box if you're buying that way. Look, I'm not like breaking a neck to collect all of these, but, you know, they're not targeted at people like me. These are, you know, dad comes home from work or mum comes home from work with a few packs of cards from the servo, gives them to the kids, and they can have some little fun cards there to rip, and some packs to rip, and some cool little cards to collect. I feel like they'll be very popular with younger collectors, so yeah, look, cool. I mean, you know, it's nice to see them change it up from the Starburst kind of stuff, but yeah, they're okay. They're okay. All right, moving on from the mascots, we are going to get stuck into the essentials, which are these ones here with old Dustius Maximus on it. Look, these are pretty cool. I think it's a really nice little non-numbered set. These are going to feature 5 players from your team, which are considered essential to your premiership aspirations in 2023. Look, really cool card. I mean, look, premiership aspirations, I think, look, as a West Coast fan, it's going to take a lot more than 5 players to even come close to doing that this year. But look, in terms of the cards themselves, I reckon they look really good. They feel like they're a much more, you know, they feel like a bigger card than what they actually are. They look like something that's going to be a numbered insert. I think you could release that as a box hit and it would look great. The fact that they're 1 in every 6 packs is kind of cool, so you're going to still end up with 6 per box. Again, on their own, I think they look really good. They got the nice Essential logo down the bottom there is going to be like a 3D sort of thing. So yeah, that's going to look great. I think it's one of the nicer non-numbered sets Selective done in a long time, probably since Thunder and Lightning, which I really liked. But one thing that these really got going for them is they're kind of like the Starburst from last year in the fact that you're going to have 3 different parallels from 3 different types of release on these ones. So starting off, you can see obviously there's the Footy Stars Gold Edition ones that look like this. Again, look really nice. No dramas there. When you get the starter packs, that's where you're going to find the acetate versions where it's literally just the player, the Essential logo, and a full clear background. Good to see acetates are back. We'll have more chats about acetates a bit later, but that's pretty cool. And then also the Kmart starter packs, we have a pink version, and they look really good too. Obviously, in the video, we saw Lynn pull one out there and have a look, and I think that pink's really going to pop. So, yeah, look, I think having the 3 parallels in your folder, a bit like the Starburst ones from previous years, is going to look really cool. And look, given that the pink ones are going to be a little bit harder for collectors to find, I think, given that they're only available at Kmart, I think they're going to be a pretty fun little chase. I think the Kmart ones are going to get snapped up pretty quick. And, yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun little subset for team collectors, absolutely. I'm going to be trying to get all 15 of the West Coast ones. I think they're going to look really cool in the folder, especially with the acetates and the pinks and the golds all lined up together. It's going to be real nice. Bit of a rainbow chase. All right, so moving on from that, we're going to go on to the milestones, as you can see here. Look, I'm a big fan of these as well. Familiar format in terms of the, you know, it's going to be bronze, silver, gold, and platinum for the 100, 150, 200, and 250 game milestones of the year. But I think they actually look like nicer cards this year. I like that they're not in landscape mode, they're in portrait mode, so that, you know, you don't have to worry about, like, turning your head when you're looking through your files and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, look, not much else to report on these. A pretty standard release, a pretty standard insert. We all know what goes on with milestones. All right, so moving on to our box hits. All right, and the first one we are going to have a look at is AFL Classifieds are back for 2023. So look, like last year, these feature the top 150 rated players of 2022, but they now come on an acetate board with sort of like a old-timey sort of newspaper writing on the top here. And look, I don't know if these are a hit for me. I love the idea of acetate cards. I really want to like these ones, but For me, I don't know. Look, now, obviously, Footy Stars is not something that's aimed at, like, older collectors. It's obviously for kids, which, I mean, that's why I get why the inserts are kind of... I think the kids are really going to like these as big inserts. They'll be getting traded around in the playground like it's nobody's business. But look, for me, I think these could have been an unnumbered subset. I would have really liked to have seen these swapped with the Essentials. So have the Essential be a box hit and just have these being like a... I don't know, maybe like a 1 in 18, like a two per box sort of hit. That's just for me. Look, I just think they look a little bit cheap and nasty. I'm not really into it. Look, these are numbered out of 365, which is a much higher numbering than the ones from last year, which were numbered to 270. Look, I'm not going to be breaking my neck to get too many of these. Look, lucky for me, West Coast were pretty average last year, and we only had 3 players in the top 150 rated players last year, so I'm not going to need to find them too many anyway, but yeah, a little bit of a miss for me, to be honest. I think, like I said, I think the AFL Classifieds from last year were a much nicer looking card. I do like acetates, but I don't like them on box hits. I just think, I don't know, I think they look a bit cheap for a box hit. Rolling on to the next one. And the next thing we have got numbers, and numbers are back. These are also a box hit, so 1 in every 36 packs, and are numbered, to 255 with 5 players from each team represented. I'm actually quite a big fan of these. I think they look really good. I think they're essentially like a gold variety of the numbers cards last year, but yeah, they look great. Like, you know, the numbers really pop, the player pops, the nice gold finish. I think they look really good. Obviously, look, for the sort of collectors looking for chase cards and stuff, I think this is going to be one of them. One of the big ones, and especially when it comes to, you know, like it's a whole insert just like last year based around jumper numbers, so obviously getting the jumper number of the numbers card is going to be a big one. But yeah, not much else to say, to be honest. I think these look really good. I think they're going to look even better in hand, and these will be probably one of the first sets that I try and finish off when I'm trying to get all the West Coast players for that one, because I think, yeah, I just think they look really good. Alright, next we are going to have a look at predictors, and I'm sure you guys are all familiar with how the predictors work this year, but they are back this year with a twist. Something I'm very excited about. Selectors decided to include the Rising Star Predictor, and I am stoked about this. I think this is going to be great. I love the idea about being able to get essentially a booklet SIG card from a rookie, essentially the rookie of the year. Look, these are going to be really cool. I think everyone's going to get behind these. Obviously, there's a couple of clubs that everyone's going to be trying to get. Obviously, Brisbane with Will Ashcroft. I think he's probably a $1.05 favorite to win the Rising Star this year. There's a couple of smokies around. I'm going to try and get one of the West Coast ones, because I do think that if, who knows, you know, if a Will Ashcroft or something gets injured halfway through the season, and someone like a Jai Cully or a Ruben Jinby is just tearing it up, I think that's the second team you're going to want, personally. I might be a little bit biased, but hey. But yeah, look, I mean, I think these are going to be huge. Could you imagine, right? Imagine if we had one of these last year for Nick Dacos, and how much those booklet SIGs would be going for. It's a pretty big deal, you know? So, look, I think it's really cool. Other than that, like the predictors, there's not a whole heap to talk about. You know, same sort of hit rates and stuff. So the Brownlow predictors are 1 in every 2 boxes. That's 1 in 72 packets. And the Premiership, Coleman, and Rising Stars are all 1 in every 10 boxes, which is essentially a case hit. So they are going to be harder to find than the Brownlows, just like they always have been. But yeah, Rising Star predictors, huge win, huge tick from me. Really good. Also, they're all numbered to 260, so there's going to be a few around. But yeah, I tell you what, if you're lucky enough to hit those Brisbane Rising Stars, I think that's going to be something you're really going to want to hold on to. And don't be sleeping on the West Coast rookies; they're going to go all right as well. Next, we're going to have a look at what I believe is the most divisive card of this release, and that is the iconic insert, as you can see down here with big Tomahawk's head on the middle of it. These are a 1 in 432 pack hit, which is 1 in 12 boxes, so a full case hit, and feature 4 players from each team that are numbered to 70. Now, let's talk about that as one. These are numbered to 70. I am not sold on these at all. Look, I think a bit like the Classifieds for such a rare card, they look a little bit caca, to be honest. This looks like it's been mocked up by a teenager on Canva.com or something, you know? Like, I don't know. I think they look cheap. I don't think they. I think if you were going to have a card that was going to be numbered to 70 in this set, it should not be that. I mean, you put a Virtuoso next to this. Now, look, This could end up being a bit like the Matrix inserts from Optimum, where I just bagged them out when I first saw them, and then I got one in my hand and quickly changed my mind because they look much better in hand. All cards look better in hand than they do in pictures or on videos or all that kind of stuff. But yeah, look, I'm really not sure on these. I've seen a version of the Nick Nat one on the checklist. We'll scroll down and have a quick look at that in a second. But man, they did him dirty. He looks ridiculous. It looks like him, but it doesn't really look like him, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. I think they look a bit cheap and nasty. I'm really not going to be chasing these hard at all. Look, if I snag one, sure, I'll probably keep it, put it in the folder with everything else. But yeah, I think this is a big miss. You know, I mean, not only is it like I don't mind if a classified doesn't look that great. You know what I mean? But when you've got a card that is a case hit and it's numbered to 70 and it just looks like that, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Not for me, but that's it. So look, that's it for the footy. Obviously, there's the instant win stuff, which, you know, we don't really need to go into that too much. Look, if you pull one, follow the instructions on the back and win something. But I think every card wins something this year, and they're a lot rarer than they used to be. So yeah, these are one in every 1,296 packets, and every card wins something. So yeah, super rare. I mean, if you get one, it used to just be, all right, throw it to the side, we'll deal with that later. But yeah, that's probably the rarest hit in the whole set now. So yeah, that's going to be interesting and a bit of fun as well. But yeah, anyways, look, hope you guys are all still with me. Hope you're all following on. There's still a little bit more to get through. So obviously, as you can just see down here, we're going to scroll down and we're going to have a look at the additional inserts that you can find in the hobby release. So to clear up any confusion, you can still pull all of the Footy Stars inserts, all of these, all in the hobby release as well. But as well as those, you'll also be able to find these additional releases. All the predictors that you'll find in the hobby release are going to be of the platinum variety. So the few little things with that is that the Brownlows will be found in every 4 boxes, and the Coleman's Premiership Predictors and Rising Star Predictors will be found in 1 in every 8 boxes, and they will all just be numbered to 60. But then on top of that, we've got 2 hobby exclusive inserts, and the first of those that we are going to look at is the Carbons, as you can see here. Now look, these are essentially a parallel of blank canvas from last year. Think black canvas, if you will. These have 5 players from each team. They're numbered to 195 and can be found 1 in every 9 packets. So 18 cards per pack, 18 packs per boxes. A little bit different to the Footy Stars. You're going to get 2 of these in a box, just like you did with the blank canvas. But I think they look pretty cool. I found it interesting that in the video, Lynn did say that they are found in 1 in every 9 packs on average. So look, I don't know if that means that, you know, if you don't get a predictor in your box, you could get like a 3rd carbon or something like that. Who knows? Just something to think about, something that might be worth a mention. They look cool. It kind of looks like they've used the same board as the classifieds from last year. It's got that same sort of like shimmer pattern. So, you know, it's kind of interesting that they've moved those onto these, and they're not just like a plain sort of carbon color on the back like the blank canvases were last year with the creamy white color on the back. But yeah, look, I think they look pretty cool. It can be interesting to see how they look in hand. I think they're going to have that nice hollow pattern, and yeah, look, it'll be one worth collecting for sure. And then look, in terms of the hobby exclusive inserts, the last one we have here is Spectrum. Spectrum's back, just like it was last year, but it is a little bit different. So this year with Spectrum, only excuse me, only 2 of these per team, with Spectrum 1 being redeemed for both the AFLM and AFLW team captains, and your Spectrum 2 being redeemed for both your AFLM and AFLW best and fairest winner of 2022. So I think it's a little bit of a better format, a little bit easier to remember. These look fine, and I'm sure they'll be fine again. I didn't really get around the Spectrum from last year. I think I got one of the West Coast ones that I pulled, or I might have got it in a break or something. And, you know, look, for me, like, looking through the whole set, I think trying to have that many players in there, I didn't think the player representation was great for West Coast in particular. He's looking at you, Zach Langdon. And I don't know, I just don't really think that they really were worth the price that their rarity commanded. But, you know, look, captains and BNFs, I think that's much better. I think only having 2 of them means there may be more of a chase because, look, they might not be rarer, but, you know, they're pretty good. They're numbered to 125. I think that's around about what Spectrum was numbered to last year. But look, I think it's definitely a big improvement on the concept of Spectrum from last year. You know, I'll definitely be trying to get my Spectrum 1 and 2 for West Coast. And yeah, so look, that's pretty much it from the hobby release sort of side of it. We will scroll down just quickly. Have a look at Nick Nat here. You know, like, I get it. It looks like him, but, you know, I think they've done him a bit dirty there, to be honest. All right, guys. So, yeah, look, there's a fair bit to go through. It is a pretty stacked release for a Series 1. Look, there's a few things I want to chat about, just some of my thoughts on the release as a whole and just talking points around it. And the first of that is, as was said in the video, there is no Prestige release this year. So I know a lot of people were getting tired and, you know, Prestige felt like a little bit of a stale concept. I personally really enjoyed Prestige last year. I loved the Rainbow Chase. You know, I really liked the Black Classifieds. I think they were a really great insert, or the Midnight Classifieds, whatever they were called. I think they were a really good insert. But look, in terms of this year and what having no Prestige really means, look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the release calendar. Look, are they just leaving a really big gap between sort of Footy Stars and whatever Series 2 will be with this year? It'll be interesting to see what Select kind of has planned for the release calendar. Are we going to have another sort of, you know, pop-up release like we had with Brilliance last year? Or, you know, are we just going to get left with a really big gap? Are Select trying to give us a really big gap because they're wanting us to save up a bit of money because there's going to be something like a Supremacy or something like that towards the end of the year? And look, if that's the case, I mean, if there's a 4, 5, 6 month wait between this and whatever Series 2 is going to be, the hype for it is just going to be massive. I know I'll be like hanging out. Look, I think there'll be something in the middle, whether it's, you know, I mean, we've kind of now run in the last few years, you know, we've had Supremacy 1 and 2, we've had Brilliance 1 and 2, we've had Optimum 1 and 2. So, you know, I feel like, you know, and Prestige as well, but I feel like we're really getting to a point now where, you know, if they do Supremacy again for a third time, Select don't really normally do things in 3s, but, you know, it's also something different from everything else that Select have done. I'd like to see a middle ground sort of release, something like a Brilliance, or, you know, maybe not like a 1 card per box release, but, you know, something around that price point of, let's say, $150 to $200 a box. You know, a nice middle tier release, just to give us something to really get stuck into before that we hit something like Supremacy closer to finals. If it is Supremacy again this year, I mean, you know, that's going to be huge again. Supremacy is a great release. I'd like to see it come around again, but yeah, I'd like to see us not be flooded with releases if that is going to be the case, man. I need time to save some money. I'm the poorest guy in footy cards, you know? So yeah, look, that'd be really cool to see. But yeah, one of the other big talking points for me is, let's talk Kmart, eh? So Footy Stars are going to be available. Footy Stars products are going to be available in over 250 Kmart locales around the country. Obviously, we spoke earlier about their own Kmart edition starter packs with the unique pink essential parallel. Look, at first, I was all like, I don't know if I like the idea of parallels you can only get from a certain shopping store. It sort of feels like a sponsored parallel, you know what I mean? I don't know, I just thought it seemed a bit weird, but, you know, the more I think about it and the more you sort of realize, you know, the secondary market's so big these days. There are so many online, like, Facebook pages and card forums and all that, so, you know, I think it's going to be really easy to, I mean, maybe not easy to pick these up, but I think they're going to be, you know, you're going to be able to find them online. You know, obviously, you know, there's huge Facebook groups like, you know, Really Good Vibes and, you know, AFL buy sell pages and all that kind of stuff. So, look, I think, I also think people are going to be storming the gates of Kmart on March the 9th. So I reckon if you're looking at getting in and getting some of these, I'd be calling ahead to make sure that your local Kmart is one that is going to have them on the shelves. And for us over here in the West, I'd also suggest ringing up when you ring them up to find out whether they're going to be stocking them, when they're going to be on shelves, because like everything, you're going to have a few days layover between when they're released on shelves over East and by the time we get our stock shipped and shelved here. But yeah, I think if you want some of these starter packs, I think you're going to want to get in there on the day they go on the shelves, because if you don't, I think someone else will, and I think you're going to miss out. And it's going to be cool just having somewhere else to go and buy cards. You know, I think especially over here in WA, like there aren't a huge amount of sort of hobby card shops down south of the river where I live. So it's nice to know I got a few Kmarts that I can go to buy stuff. I think they're also doing TCG now as well. So you get your Pokemon cards at Kmart, and you can now get your footy cards at Kmart. I know Target do a little bit of NFL and NBA. So it's going to be nice where we can go to these shops a bit like they can over in the States, where, you know, you can go to a Walmart and just buy boxes, you know. So look, I think it's better in general for the hobby. I think it's going to be cool to, like I said, be able to go somewhere else to buy cards. So yeah, look, pretty happy with that. I think the Kmart thing is a good thing overall. Like I said, I've definitely warmed up to it in the last few days, that's for sure. So yeah, look, overall, guys, look, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I actually think Footy Stars last year was a superior release to the Footy Stars this year. I think a lot of the inserts looked a lot better. I think if you have a Virtuoso in one hand and an Iconic in the other, it's going to be pretty easy to say which one is a superior insert. Look, I think the classifieds looked way better last year than the acetate style ones this year. But look, it's not all negative. There's some big positives this year. I think the addition of the Rising Star Predictor is a huge win for collectors. I think the essential inserts in all of their Parallel Glory are a big win. So yeah, look, I guess it all equals out in the end, right? But yeah, look, that'll probably do it for me, guys. Congratulations if you sat through that whole video of me just talking at you for however long this is going to end up being. But look, hopefully we covered all the bases for you. Hopefully you got everything out of this that you wanted to. You've got all the information now, and you're a full bottle on Footy Stars 2023. Look, if you did find this video helpful and you did enjoy it, make sure you like the video and drop a cheeky sub to the channel. Would be very nice. So, quick recap on the key information, guys. We've got, if you're an SCC member, you've got until 4 p.m. Tuesday, the 28th, which by the time you're watching this is probably a couple of hours time, to get your pre-orders in, and then general sale 9 a.m. Western time, March 9th. That is this coming Sunday, so don't be snoozing on that. Yeah, guys, let me know in the comments, what are you looking forward to about this release? What's your favorite insert of this release? I want to hear about from you guys. So yeah, look, good luck getting your boxes. We'll see each other again when I've got cards in hand. That'll probably be the next time that we hang out. Really looking forward to ripping into some boxes. Cannot wait. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. Good luck getting your boxes, and may all your hits be absolute rippers.